In this video, you'll get a quick overview of the PFAS test. I'll explain the Vibrant advantage and the technology used. Then I'll walk through each section of the test, highlighting key features. I'll also suggest complementary tests and end by summarizing the key takeaways and where to go for additional information. PFAS are per- and polyfluoroalkyl chemicals used for their non-stick properties. PFAS offer water, oil, and stain repellent capabilities and other friction reduction benefits. For this reason, PFAS are broadly used in industries such as aviation, automotive, and electronics, as well as in consumer goods such as cosmetics, paints, fast food packaging, carpets, floor polishes, herbicides, cookware, outdoor gear, and firefighting agents. Due to widespread applications, humans are often chronically exposed to PFAS in day-to-day life. Research on the health harms of PFAS are widely available. This table highlights some specific conditions that have been studied in relationship to general PFAS exposure, including asthma, cancer, diabetes, infertility, obesity, and thyroid disease. Vibrant's PFAS test is an easy at-home urine test that uses the gold standard liquid chromatography mass spectrometry to measure the levels of 21 PFAS chemicals present in the urine. Liquid chromatography with tandem mass spectrometry is a powerful analytical technique that combines the separating power of liquid chromatography with a highly sensitive and selective mass spec analysis capability of triple quadrupole mass spectrometry. The mass spec machine we use detects elements down to the parts per quadrillion level. How small is parts per quadrillion? Well, if you had a pie and cut that pie into a quadrillion pieces, that's a 1 with 15 zeros after it, the mass spec instrument Vibrant uses can detect one tiny piece of that pie. Now that's pretty powerful stuff. Before we dive into the actual report, I want to remind you that you get to choose how much information to include in the report you download for yourself or the report you share with your patients. You have three options: summary, summary with interpretation, and full report. I'll be going over the report that includes all three options combined, as it is the most comprehensive. Let's start with a quick overview. The PFAS sample report includes a cover page, introduction, summary, then lists all of the 21 PFAS. The cover page includes the sample type and the results interpretation key. The introduction pages include the methodology and interpretation of report, and I highly recommend reading this page, especially the part of the introduction where it says, quote, "Reference ranges for tests flagged with a caret are determined based on NHANES data if available, and other reference ranges are established based on urine samples from 1,000 apparently healthy individuals." And also the part where it says, "The level of PFAS chemicals are shown with 3 shades of color, green, yellow, and red," and then explains which percentile each color corresponds to. The summary shows the high risk and moderate results along with comments and interpretation. And the full report lists the levels of all 21 PFAS measured. The results are reported as both a number and also plotted graphically, so you can visually see how high or low your patient's results are. Results in green correspond to the 0 to 75th percentile and indicates mild exposure. A yellow result corresponds to the 75th to 95th percentile, indicating moderate exposure. And results in the red correspond to the greater than 95th percentile, indicating your patient's exposure is higher than 95% of the population. Side note here, this example is an all out of range report, so all analytes are above the reference range, and I've never seen this in real life. Note that the reference range is set at the 95th percentile. If you want to learn more about the PFAS showing moderate or high exposure, simply scroll back to the report summary to read the interpretive comment, which includes possible sources, associated risk, and detox suggestions. You can take an even deeper dive by checking out the PFAS guide in your provider portal. One last thing to point out is that all urine tests should also measure urine creatinine. This is because urine can have varied concentrations. Sometimes it's pale yellow, sometimes it's an orangey brown. Good news, urine creatinine is constant. So all PFAS chemicals are normalized to the urine creatinine to account for urine dilution variations. Before we talk about complementary tests, I want you to think about Dr. Sidney Baker's TAC rules. Rule number 1, if you're sitting on a TAC, it takes a lot of aspirin to make the pain go away. In other words, it's difficult to heal if you don't identify the root cause of your symptoms. Rule number 2. If you're sitting on 2 tacks, removing one does not necessarily result in a 50% improvement in symptoms. In other words, sometimes there's more than one toxin contributing to your symptoms. Which is why, in addition to PFAS chemicals, also consider exploring exposure to mycotoxins, heavy metals, and environmental toxins to really investigate and reduce total toxic burden. Also consider the hepatic function and renal function panels to investigate liver and kidney function, which impact detoxification and elimination. The gut zoomer to investigate microbial overgrowth burden, intestinal hyperpermeability, and or elevated beta-glucuronidase impacting detoxification and elimination. Micronutrients to assess the intracellular and extracellular nutrient levels, as many PFAS deplete critical nutrients such as antioxidants and minerals, and also to assess for the adequacy in nutrients required for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification pathways. The oxidative stress profile to assess how much PFAS exposure is accelerating aging in your patient, and hormones, be it serum, saliva, or urine, to investigate the impact of PFAS chemicals on endocrine and reproductive symptoms. In conclusion, the PFAS chemicals test measures 21 PFAS so you know if toxic burden is contributing to symptoms like ADHD, allergies, asthma, or any of the other symptoms listed on this slide. By identifying your patient's exposure to PFAS chemicals, you can devise a plan to reduce their exposure, increase their elimination, and promote healing today. To learn more, visit the link in the video description, and if you can't find it, you can use the QR code or URL on this page to visit us. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a vibrant day.